I always liked the idea of going out into the mountains and doing some adventuring, but I've never had the chance to do so, especially since my location, and I really wanted to.
I'm really interested in environmental science, but I've never actually had the opportunity to have a hands-on interactive experience with that field. I was really excited about Girls on Ice because I think glaciers are really emblematic of climate change.
Society puts very subtle but also very invasive constraints on what girls are supposed to be able to do. One of our goals in this is to really show these girls that they are much more capable beyond what they probably think they are and beyond what society thinks they're capable of.
Girls on Ice is a free wilderness science program for teenage girls. Girls spend 12 days exploring science and art in a challenging high alpine environment.
Some of these mediums?
No. Okay, that's pretty, I mean, that one would be fine, I think, too. I was just wondering if you might be a little more, oh, that one might be a little bit tight for fitting other layers under.
Melody emailed me over a year ago, out of the blue, and said, I just found out about this program. It sounds absolutely amazing, and she just exuded this excitement for it. But then she said at the end, my family just doesn't have, we just can't afford most of the programs that I see like this, which is why our tuition-free format was something that she realized was possible for her. And within a few weeks after that, she emailed me and she said, well, I've raised $300 towards my airfare. Is that going to be enough to get me? I live in Los Angeles.
Just to learn a lot and hopefully be able to get out of my comfort zone. I'm kind of like a city girl, I guess you can say, and I'm used to like toilets, and I'm hoping I can learn how to pee.
Many of these girls come to us with very little backpacking experience, if any.
So again, thinking about where you're placing your feet, looking for nice steady, make sure you have a nice steady footing before you take another step.
My responsibility is just to help the girls build those mountain skills that will allow them to stay safe in the mountains, to help build that teamwork and give them the bag of tricks to move through the mountains. What I call mountain sense.
Stepping with authority, I like that.
Nice job, girls.
Tomorrow, we are gonna be traveling kind of deeper into the wild spaces. And our big goal for tomorrow is to show up to our beautiful base camp high up in the mountains, happy, we'll be tired but in good spirits, and set up camp and have a good night's sleep.
I'm gonna lift it onto her knee, and then I'm gonna help her put it on. This way we don't hurt any backs. And now she's gonna like hoist it up, kind of lean forward, and she's gonna get it around her waist belt. This big dog leg here is just this stunningly beautiful spot where hopefully we'll get our first views of the mountains.
Like, checking our student IDs, wouldn't let me in.
We're starting to be able to see your first views of glaciers. And you can see too that we're getting closer to what we call tree line. I give them an A at the start. I find my belief in them and I find where I believe they can go, and then I actively strive to get them there. Over here and stand on the snow.
And then I learned how to self-arrest, which was totally empowering. Initially it was kind of intimidating for me because I was like, I'm wielding this pokey metal thing that can potentially honestly hurt someone. I'm gonna swing it around in the snow.
And I'm gonna self-arrest. Do you see how I'm gonna go down really, really far that way? What if I have my axe here? Do you see how I'm gonna be a lot closer to the ground already?
It took me a long time to actually learn how to self-arrest, and I would just fall and slip down and fall down these huge slopes. I felt a little bit afraid to actually do a lot of these things, but with the help of other people I have been able to do them.
Waking up every morning and just having all this beautiful landscape around me is so stunning and so amazing and so unlike anything I've ever done.
For Aquia, so she's got not just the challenges of being a woman in science, but she has the barriers also of being a Black scientist, and everything that I've had to fight against, she's got to fight 2 or 3 times harder. So the way Girls on Ice helps somebody like Aquia with that is giving them a head start in knowing what it's really like to be a field scientist.
What I've heard so far is we want to remap the edges and then walk the crampon line.
So she's coming into her college years with an extra level of authentic field science experience that her peers won't all have.
37. We were really curious about documenting the change in the glacier, potentially due to climate change. We chose 3 different ways of looking at that change. We measured the elevation drop, and then to look at how it had receded up the slope, we looked at previous data of the terminus that was collected actually by other Girls on Ice participants, which is really cool to kind of have that legacy continue. And then the final thing was we looked at how plants can be used to kind of determine where the glacier was before and how long it's been gone. How awesome is it to be able to do science in beautiful nature spaces? I really loved that experience. And I think it forced me to be more flexible, which is a good trait to practice. It's so beautiful!
Right on top of the tree, watch this.
I broke down twice. I guess I was just so overwhelmed because I didn't know what I could do. This is such a totally new terrain, and I really didn't know, and I missed my family so much. It's so strange, the feeling of not knowing how to do something, so I think the hardest part was not giving up.
Melody had done 1 or 2 hikes in her life and is from a very urban region and, just spent 10 days exploring this kind of wild mountainous landscape. So she certainly had tremendous physical growth.
Debating whether this is the nicest thing I've ever seen.
When you take the time to really look and observe with all of your senses, that's when you start to see details and you see patterns and you see relationships that you didn't notice before. But that takes really getting out of your comfort zone.
We're sort of over the hard part of all the logistics are behind us. There's all the gear that's just dumped out on the floor and we sort of don't care anymore. This is the first moment where they really stand together as a team and realize, whoa, we did this together. It's magical watching that dynamic come out. It was really obvious to me when that moment occurred and I started crying. I mean, it's the most powerful thing that there is.
Before, I guess I wasn't as content. I was like, I want to go to all these places, but I don't have money, or I have to take the bus. You can find these great places within your own community.
Being aware of yourself in a physical landscape and being able to take care of yourself just gives you greater confidence, I think, beyond that arena. And so I'm hoping to take that with me into college.
I think it's life-changing.
Definitely empowering. Definitely challenging and just so much fun. I made so many awesome friendships.
Bye.